Any questions? Anyone here have a question? Good news. No? Need a motion. We gotta make separate motions for 12 and 13.
Mayor, I move that we approve the ordinance approving and authorizing the issuance and sale of the City of Aubrey Special Assessment Revenue Refunding Bond Series 2024.
I'll second.
Which one?
Jackson Ridge Public Improvement District Phase 3 Major Improvement Assessments.
I'll still second.
Appreciate it.
Motion by Jeff, second by Matt, all in favor? 5-0. 9-13.
Mayor, I move to approve an ordinance approving and authorizing the issuance and sale of City of Aubrey Special Assessment Revenue Refunding Bond Series 2024 Jackson Ridge Public Improvement District Phase 1 and 2 assessments.
I'll second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Randy, all in favor? 5-0. All right, hold a public hearing regarding the closeout of the city's community development block grant, water sewer improvements grant. Open the public hearing at 6:36.
Mayor, council, I'm filling in for Lizette tonight. Tonight, the final public hearing is to present the specifics of the project that we recently completed for the Community Development Block Grant. It was a 2021 CD water sewer improvements. It was funded through HUD and TDA. The project timeline on May 3rd of 21 is when we submitted our application. March 1st of 22, we were able to initiate the contract. And the contract end date was February 29th, 2024. The project consisted of sewer repairs. We replaced 757 linear feet of 8-inch sewer line along Tisdale. For the water, we abandoned existing 2-inch and 4-inch water lines and installed 1,991 linear feet of 3/4 inch and 1-inch water service lines, meter boxes, and associated parts on Tisdale and Des Moines. The original award was for $350,000 of grant money, and the city match was $52,550. The final budget after the project was completed was $341,010.43 of grant funds, and the city match was $51,151.57. Additionally, there was local dollars that was contributed on the project, which totaled $28,706. Those were for 3 different non-low income homes. We have to do those surveys throughout the project, and there was 3 that were not qualified. The contractors for the sewer, we had Quality Excavation, and for the water, we had TexPro Construction. Our engineer was Andrew Mata with Burkhoff Hendrickson Carter. Our grant admin consultant was Lizette Howard with Public Management Incorporated. 44 citizens, of which 38 or 59.46% are of low to moderate income, benefited from the project. And at this time, if there's any questions or comments, I'll try to answer those for you.
Any questions? Anyone here have a question? Anyone on Zoom have a question?
Thank you.
And we'll close the public hearing at 6:38. Item 15, consideration and action on a site plan for Lot 2, Block A of the Arnold Edition, addressed as 921 South US Highway 377. Else?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So this next item is a site plan. You all have previously seen and approved a site plan for the Alsup's station. So this is strictly for signage, and they had submitted a revised site plan application and requested to go to Board of Adjustment for a sign that would be more appropriate for a freeway. It was a 35-foot height sign, and the copy area was around 145 square feet. The Board of Adjustment denied that, and they went to P&Z the next day, and the Planning and Zoning Commission was presented with an updated sign. And it meets the regulations that City Council has the opportunity to approve for a principal arterial. The sign ordinance was just adopted January of 23. The sign ordinance states that pole signs are prohibited, but it does have the section in the code that allows for City Council to grant a pole sign. So this sign meets the standards for what we call a principal arterial, which is what US 377 is. So the pole height is proposed at 24 feet, and the copy area is 94.38 square feet. So this is what the Planning and Zoning Commission saw on January 11th. The Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended the pole sign for your consideration with the condition that masonry be added to the pole sign. So they submitted two options, and this is the first one. The wainscoting at the bottom showing the stone veneer with a stucco pole is consistent, thank you, consistent with the building facade elevations for the main facility, the C-store, convenience store. And then this is the second option where they take the masonry up all the way to the Valero and the digital price signs. So you can see they have made strides from the very beginning to try to improve the overall sign, coming into compliance with what City Council could review and approve for a principal arterial like US 377. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. The applicants are available through remote call-in, so if you have any questions for them. And that's all I have for the moment.
So our signage ordinance does not allow for pole signs. Is that correct?
It says they're prohibited,
Okay.
but there is another section that City Council can approve a pole sign through a site plan application. And then there are very strict standards on the height of the structure in the copy area.
Thank you.
Helen Eve, is it correct to say that the pole sign exception is only allowed on 377? Highway,
Yes, sir. It's any principal arterial.
okay, thank you.
Which is 100 foot right away or larger.
Yes, sir. It is. Yes, 100 feet to 250 feet, and then a freeway would be greater than the 250.
So if they didn't have a pole sign, it would just be a kiosk type sign that sits on the ground.
Sir, it would be a monument sign, and I believe those are limited to a height of 16 feet.
Is there a copy area limit on the monument sign too?
Yes, sir. I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but I can certainly go for you. If you have any questions while I look that up, the applicants are available through the web.
$16-foot monument sign seems kind of great.
Yeah,
It's only 8 foot shorter.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking too.
it almost creates a bigger site distance.
Makes a big blind spot.
Right.
Are we sure that's correct?
16 pole, 16 foot. Models.
Yeah,
Can we confirm the size of the height of the monument sign that it's allowed to be 16?
Well, that seems right if it was put in multiple times. That makes sense. But not just one.
mhm.
Yeah, like from Walmart. Got multiple
Yeah.
businesses on it.
Exactly.
Very good. Done.
And I know we intended to get rid of billboards.
Right.
I thought the pole sign was restricted to one per platted lot, and there was a distance requirement from a neighboring pole sign. 100 foot. If we go the pole sign out, I definitely like the one with the stucco and the stone better.
Yeah, if it matches the building facade, it's at least something.
But I wouldn't mind seeing the stone go up maybe 6 foot instead of 3 foot.
Right.
Kind of something in between.
Right.
So I guess that would be option C.
Should see. Sure.
I think the reason is because it matches the internal with the masonry and then the stucco at the top.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
I'm more.
higher.
The canopy has the same thing on the poles.
Bad though, the pole sign was 6 foot. I don't like it when it goes all the way up.
Looks like the buildings also.
On their site plan, do they have the location of the pole sign?
Yes, sir. It is. You see where the M2 and the red line, it's right there in the corner of the property.
So it's right on Bradford Road too.
Yes, sir. So a unified development monument sign, which is what this would kick into, because they tell us that Valero and Alsips are 2 operators, so that turns it into more of a multi-use sign. So it is 16 feet, and let's see, I'm looking for the copying area.
Block it's then a pole.
Does it have a width on there? 16 by,
Yeah, if you're only ready for turning north. Yeah.
If it's less than 5 acres, it's 60 square feet for the copy area.
Setbacks on. Open setback
Is
5
it
feet.
5 feet.
Yeah, if it's only 5 feet, you're gonna have blockage, but the money
It'd
inside.
be like 16 foot tall and 3 foot wide.
They ended up going with the monument sign. They might need to relocate it, and they haven't investigated that option at this time. I think Molly Brown is wanting to speak.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't find the raise hand. I apologize. It just said unmute or remove, and I didn't want to remove. So I was a little confused. I thought that the poll sign was approved. And we were just working on the masonry. But yeah, we didn't plan for anything with it being at the monument dimension because we had been approved for the pole sign. The masonry can be adjusted. If that's a question, it doesn't have to stay at the 3. We were trying to tie it in and make sure that it's matching everything and looks nice in that way. But it was a little unclear in the last meeting if they wanted the masonry to just match at the 3 foot or if they were wanting it all the way up the pole. So
I was thinking proportionally height wise, 6 foot would look better than 3 foot because the sign's much taller than the building.
Right. And that, again, that can be adjusted. I did not plan for something in between. But we can do that.
So Honey, I just want to make sure I'm understanding. So a monument sign, according to our ordinances, could be 16 feet high with, and no bigger than 60 square feet total.
Copy area, let's see,
That's the sign part of it.
the maximum area of the sign for 5 acres or less is 60 square feet. And honestly, I'm not seeing the maximum copy area in this section. The Code is a little disjointed.
Okay. Good to know.
I think if the location is. I mean, if they're set on that location for the sign, I think the full sign is gonna be a better option.
I agree.
I like the 6 foot masonry option too. I think it looks a little weird going all the way up to the bottom of that
Yes.
Polaris. But I do like a little bit more than that 3 person.
We have a motion or more questions?
I'll move to approve the pole sign at the location specified. and also, at 921 South US 377 with the addition of the 6 foot masonry at the bottom.
A second.
Motion by Chuck, second by Jeff, all in favor? All against? Passes 4-1. Consideration and action on a site plan for the proposed lot 1, block A, Aubrey High School addition.
I believe you all are familiar where the high school is located, and they have been working on plans to add and modify, remodel their facility. And this is probably one of the first site plan updates that you'll see in a string of updates as well as plats and replats. The site plan has been submitted and reviewed. We had asked for some conditions to be met through the review process from the time it went to planning and zoning to present to you. And at this time, we are recommending that the site plan be approved as presented. If you have any questions, the applicant's engineer is here and be happy to answer any of those questions for you.
On that site plan picture, Leanne, do you know where the lift station is on that?
Amanda knows much better than I do. I can't see that.
In the island, so the parking lot north of the detention pond, just south of the curb line there.
Okay,
So right there.
can you see that?
So the lift station as part of the project would actually be removed. The plan is to take sanitary sewer to the north to High Point to a new gravity line.
So. And I was told this during our tour at the school district and stuff, but I thought there was geothermal out in that area that,
There are existing geothermal wells. You can build parking lots and pavement on top of them, and so they're kind of spread out through the campus, but primarily, let me point there. The existing geothermal wells, there's a grouping of them in this parking lot. There's also another smaller one over in this area.
So parking lots are okay, buildings are not.
Correct, yeah,
Cause that was one of the discussions about expansion of the high school was to build over on that area.
yeah, we're building a parking lot on top of them, but definitely not any buildings. They're staying in operation.
Okay.
Any questions on the site plan?
I'll move to approve the site plan for Aubrey High School. Lot 1, Block A.
I'll second.
Motion by Chuck, second by Randy, all in favor? 5-0. Consideration action on a final plat for lot 1, block A, Aubrey High School addition.
So the final plat comes right after a site plan review and approval. We have been working on review with our consulting city engineer as well as the applicant. This afternoon, we received an updated final plat. At this time, I'm still waiting on approval of the civil engineering drawings from the city engineer. And we have worked out an understanding of what the right of way will be for 428 and then along US 377. There will potentially be a small clip over there. So in the trying to keep them going and moving, we'd like to recommend approval subject to the conditions that are listed up there, that the city engineer signs off on a final review approval of the civil plans, as well as the right of way for 428 and 377 be satisfied to the city engineer's requirements. And once again, the applicant's here and I'm here if you have any questions.
I'll move to approve the final site plan. With the conditions of the sign off by the city engineer and right of way dedications.
Second.
Motion by Chuck, second by Jeff,
The rest of.
all in favor? 5-0. Consideration action on a final plat of High Country Phase 4.
Mayor, council. Let me see if I can multitask, but that's not fun. So the next 3 items on the agenda are all the High Country development. So I've got an overview of the development and then I'll go over each phase when that item comes up. The High Country is a single family development in ETJ with a development agreement. It's located south of the existing McNatt Road and east of 377 and the existing Ag Firearm and north of Silverado Parkway. I'm trying to. Would you? I'm trying to microphone first. Make it big. Okay, it's not working. So where the white hashed areas are, that is the High Country area. Those are the last phases. So that's the area we'll be talking about this evening. Okay, the High Country development preliminary plat was for all phases. The developer is developing in phases. The last 3 phases to be developed are 4, 5, and 9. That's those over on the right-hand side. The preliminary plat for the entire development was approved November 17th of 2020. And as you know, the preliminary plat is good for 2 years. The expiration of the preliminary plat was extended to February 24th of 2024. The reason for the extension was to work out right-of-ways, easements for Upper Trinity, the alignment of the Ike Byram and McNabb Road. This development is part of the Silverado Development Agreement. They have coordinated with the school district and with all the utilities. Utilities to be provided by Mustang is water and sewer. The electricity by CoServe, and the telephone and cable is by AT&T. So for phase 4, the plant encompasses 76.241 acres, creates 310 residential lots and 4 open space HOA lots. And the lots are typically 50-foot wide by 115-foot deep. There was modifications from the preliminary plat for this phase. And that was due to the negotiations of the right-of-way. They had to make some adjustments for the Upper Trinity line and for the right-of-way. Coordination has continued with the developer, with Denton County, with the city of Krugerville, and with Aubrey, trying to work out that east-west connection. The intent was the Ike Byram connection. There has been some comments received from landowners and also from city of Krugerville, where they would prefer the Ike Byram connection not take place at this time. They would rather Stewart Road. So I have a map on the next slide or so that I can show you where that area is. But as those continue to negotiate back and forth, one of those connections will be required for this development. The connection is not shown on the plat because it's off of the property. So it's in the civil plans. So that's why we're able to go ahead and bring the plat forward with some good additions tonight, hopefully. Should those negotiations require some adjustments to the plat, then they can come back and replat if they needed to. I really need my magnifying glass, Christie. All right, well, hopefully y'all can see a little better than I can. So between the green lines, can you see the Ike Byram there on the north, and then Frontier Parkway on the south? The area in between is high country. The top connection, this is our thoroughfare plan, and we do have both connections planned in the future for that east-west connection. The top one's the Ike Byram. If the Ike Byram was completed now for this project, they would put in a temporary road where the line at the bottom of the hump of the green goes down. That would just be temporary until the landowner developed and built the green dotted line. That was what we've worked on previously. But alternatively, meeting with Krugerville and with Denton County, Stewart Road, which would be the red dotted line there at Frontier Parkway, is the preferred connection. The Bartell property is where that would be. And I think there's some negotiations with purchasing part of that property for this development, and then also working with everybody involved to try to fund the building of that road. So, phase 4 final plat. Obviously, council can approve the plat. You can approve with conditions, or you can deny the plat. Tonight, staff is recommending a conditional approval of the final plat. The Planning and Zoning Commission, they did vote unanimously to recommend approval on January 11th. And the conditions, there's 5 conditions on this one. For the city engineer, he will need to provide final approval of the construction plans. The final alignment and dedication of an easement for the Upper Trinity shall be completed. Descriptions, widths, and recorded document instrument numbers for easements shall be shown on the plat. Before filing, we'll need a tax certificate from Denton County, and we'll need those signatures on the plat. And I'll try to answer any questions you have, and also the developers engineers here tonight as well for questions.
I'll make a motion to approve the final plat of High Country Phase 4, subject to the 5 conditions outlined in the presentation.
I'll second.
Motion by Aaron, second by Chuck. All in favor? Passes 5-0. Consideration action on the final plat of High Country Phase 5.
Right, phase 5 encompasses 81.29 acres. It creates 463 residential lots and 8 open space HOA lots. Those lots are typically 40 feet wide by 115 foot deep. This plat has been modified from the preliminary plat to combine 2 of the phases. It combines 5 and 8, while also addressing some of the shifting of utility easements and right of ways. Tonight, staff recommends conditional approval of the final plat. The Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously voted to recommend conditional approval on January 11th. And we have 5 conditions that we would like to consider tonight. The city engineer will need to provide final approval of construction plans. The final alignment and dedication of easements for opportunity shall be completed. Descriptions, widths, and recorded documentation, instrument numbers for easements shall be on the plat. We'll need the tax certificate and also signatures on the plat before we can file.
I'll make a motion to approve the final plat of High Country Phase 5, subject to the 5 conditions outlined.
I'll second.
Motion by Aaron, second by Chuck. All in favor? Passes 5-0. Consideration action on the final plat of High Country Phase 9.
Phase 9 encompasses 25.403 acres. It creates 59 residential lots and 5 open space HOA lots. Those lots are typically 75 foot wide by 115 foot deep. The layout of the lots in the final plat is generally consistent with the development agreement and the preliminary plat. Whoa.
You went too far.
I'm so sorry. All right. Staff recommends conditional approval on phase 9. Planning and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to recommend conditional approval on January 11th. This one has 5 conditions as well. The applicant shall provide a downstream assessment. The engineer will need to provide final approval of the construction plans. The final alignment and dedication of an easement for the Upper Trinity Regional Water District. And tax certificate and signatures on the plat before filing.
I'll make a motion to approve the final plat of High Country Phase 9, subject to the 5 conditions outlined.
I'll second.
Motion by Aaron, second by Randy. All in favor? Passes 5-0. Consideration and action on ordinance annexing a plus or minus 3.94 acre tract over and across Redfern Road, an existing 60-foot right of way, and Betty Lane, formerly named Meadow Drive.
Mayor and council, this is the ordinance that accompanies the annexation that you all initiated last fall. The 2 public hearings that are required were held on December 19th. Your packet includes the ordinance, and your city attorney has reviewed it and recommending approval as presented.
Let me bring some coffee for the meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance annexing plus or minus 3.94 acre tract over and across Redfern Road and Betty Lane.
I'll second.
Motion by Aaron, second by Matt. All in favor? Passes 5-0. Hold a public hearing, consider an act on a resolution establishing a policy statement for economic development incentives. Open the public hearing at 7:09.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This resolution is the reauthorization of your existing policy statement for economic development incentives. The policy is required to be in place before the city can offer any economic development incentives in the future. There was a small change in the policy that you can see in the staff report provided to you today, that is, we didn't get that. Where any tax abatement over $60 million may not exceed 10 years. This was a change in statute that our legal caught and made that change for us. Staff recommends reauthorization of the policy, and I'm here for any questions.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution reestablishing a policy. Oh, sorry.
Becky, I was right for
I just had a comment. It actually shows in there that the public meeting was held on December 19th, or at least the one that was attached to the meeting agenda.
I think she was.
This was initially on your December agenda, and we did not have the public meeting posted that night, so it was postponed to this meeting tonight. So in your motion, if you could just show that with that change to the resolution. Okay. Good with that.
Any other questions? We'll close the public hearing at 7:10.
No, I can go. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution reestablishing a policy statement for economic development incentives and adopting guidelines and criteria under state law with the change made to utilizing tonight's date for the public hearing.
I'll second.
Motion by Aaron, second by Chuck, all in favor? Passes 5-0. Consideration action on staff request to reclassify an open planner position to an assistant to the city manager, communications and marketing.
Mayor and council, this request was detailed to you in a special staff report that I sent to you last week. Staff is seeking your authorization to reclassify the dormant planner position to that of an assistant to the city manager. The new position will have significant emphasis on communication and marketing, specifically with our website and social media. As I stated previously, our website design is, when our website redesign is complete, the maintenance of this site will require significant effort, and we are all aware that our communication efforts need to be increased as we continue our unprecedented growth. Staff is recommending approval of the reclassification, and I can answer any questions that you might have.
Mayor, I move.
I'll make a motion to reclassify an open planner position to an assistant to the city manager position.
Second.
All right, motion by Randy, second by Jeff, all in favor? Passes 5-0. All right, department updates and council discussion.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Renovation update. The process went smoothly. We have new carpet and baseboards installed. We've gotten a lot of compliments on it, so if y'all are in the area, stop by and check it out. We did do a lot of staff development during that time, but the most of what we did was mainly the cross-training for staff. So it included collection development, interlibrary loans, and then story times and children's programming. We also were able to do display teardowns, setups, rearranging some furniture, and a partial declutter of our physical items as well as working on SOPs. So overall, it was a productive and successful week. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Sawyer.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Just have updates for Fire Station 2 and Fire Station 3. We'll start with Fire Station 2. As Chief Kryler mentioned, the property has been acquired. We're working through design phases, answering questions back and forth, working on utilities. I talked with our architect and he anticipates that this project will be ready to go for bid for construction optimistically in mid-February, realistically probably closer to the 1st of March. Fire Station 3, despite some weather delays, go figure, Texas, is moving along. Our 3-week forecast, this week, they were supposed to start working on some pavement for fire lanes and parking lots. The rains delayed that a little bit. In our last meeting, we had suffered 12 lost work days due to weather. Just to put it into perspective, they've been working about a month and a half, so 12 days already. But that's to be expected. But they are moving along. We had one delay on the utilities due to a misstep in submitting paperwork to Mustang. That's all been cleared up now. There was a change to the sewer pipe size. But most of our underground utilities are in, a little bit of electrical left, but it's moving on. We did install a time-lapse camera on the construction trailer. It takes 2 pictures a day, every day. So once we start to get some footage of that, we'll start to share that so everybody can see everything coming to life. I think it'll really pick up when they go vertical, but everything's moving along. We're still on bi-weekly meetings. And due to the weather, we haven't been on site yet, other than when we drive by and Google the property. So, but it's moving along. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
I drive by at least once a week.
Yeah. A couple times a week.
That's cool.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Chief Brooks.
Mayor and council, I drive by it 3 times a week. Tonight, we are like to announce that our ProTech shields have come in. This was a 100% grant funded program. And so we have 23 of them that have been issued to the patrol officers. So now I'm very encouraged that they have this protective equipment that they need to take on any task that we put before them. So, thank you. Update on the council chambers. The bid notification was released today digitally. It'll be released in the paper tomorrow. The deadline is the bids will be open February 15th, and we hope to bring an awarded contract before y'all to consider on February 22nd, and we will hit the ground running after that date. So very excited about that. Hopefully it's going to move quickly. So thank you.
Mayor, council, wastewater treatment plant design is coming along. We just completed our 90% review, have some changes, some markups. It was this thick, so we have quite a bit of markups and changes, but we're getting there. Our target now, pending our financial planning and recommendations on how to go about that, we're hoping April, we might be ready to go out for bid. So that's our target for now. Also, our portable building for the public works staff is here and set. We're in the process of getting the driveway in, getting all the utilities hooked up, but it's over on Blue Bonnet right outside, or I'm sorry, it's on Rock Hill, right adjacent to the wastewater treatment plant. So it's gonna look nice, and we'll get some staff moved over there and have room for a few more as they come along. Anything else you'd like an update on from Public Works? All right, thank you.
Leanne can't move.
No.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. You're receiving a couple of items that will be at our booth at the ICSC convention in Dallas next week. I'll be going there representing Aubrey Economic Development Municipal Development District. One of our board members will also be attending with me. Mike Browning is one of our newer board members. He'll attend with me half the time and help promote Aubrey and talk about what we have happening here with our growth so that we can bring some retail and restaurant businesses. Other businesses as well will be there, but bringing businesses that would service the area that's of residents and visitors that are here, that we all know that as it grows, we would love to be able to just go 2 miles to get somewhere as opposed to 10 or 12 or 15. So we have done a lot of research. I've been working on a lot of our demographics data updates. Our website's getting updated constantly. We've just done a lot of major ones. So hopefully with all this information out there, we'll have everyone noticing Aubrey's changes that we know are sometimes painful, but at the same time, we want it to be a great community. And so this show is all about bringing businesses together with representatives and communities so that we can build community. So, any other questions? Okay, thank you.
I did want to say that your pop-up sign looked great. I saw it when we
Oh.
were getting our pictures taken. Nicely done.
Thank you, thank you. Charles and I worked on that, and I think we've got some great new photos, and we'll even get better photos when it turns green again. Thanks.
Future agenda requests. Have anything?
Mayor, council, we set goals, city manager goals, 6 months ago, next month. And I wanted to ask if you wanted to have that as a 6-month review in the February meeting, just to go over real quickly where we're at. Some of the, many of the objectives have been met. So if you would like me to go over that with you next week, I can add that to the agenda, the next month.
All right. Executive session, in accordance with Texas Government Code, section 551.001, et sec, the city council will recess into executive session to discuss the following. Section 551.071, 1 and 2, consultation with an attorney. Section 551.072, real property.
Move to go into executive session.
Motion by Jeff, second by Chuck, all in favor? Passes 5-0.
Bless you.
Time is 7:21. All right, we'll reconvene into open session. Time is 9:14. Item 24, we have no action to take on that.
Yes, 24.
So we have 2 motions from executive session to discuss.
Yeah, Mayor, I moved to direct the city manager, city right-of-way agent, representative, and city attorney to proceed to negotiate and purchase property interest for sewer facilities, including an easement for the location of a lift station and temporary and permanent easements for sewer facilities. Such easement and property interest comprise an approximate of 1,050 square feet or 0.024 acres of land located in Aubrey, Denton County, Texas, and being more particularly described as over and across Tract 109 of Dennis Cowan Survey, Abstract 304, City of Aubrey, Denton County, Texas. Real property records, property ID number 51417, part of a called 0.10 acre remainder of an original 98.38 acre tract, current ownership by Ronald Pfefferman, non-exempt lifetime trust, including obtaining an appraisal, a survey, and a title commitment, mailing initial offer letters and final offer letters to the property owners as directed in closed session in the range discussed based on the appraisal, discussed with council, including signing and filing of all paperwork necessary to complete the transfer of property interest to the city and authorizing such approved funds to be made or to be paid to the property owners. If any of these actions that were necessary for the acquisition of the property or easements for this project have already been completed by the city manager, right-of-way agent, and or city attorney, those actions, including all negotiations and documents executed prior to this date, are so ratified.
I'll second.
By Jeff, second by Chuck, all in favor? 4-0.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to direct the city manager, city right-of-way agent, representative, and city attorney to proceed to negotiate and purchase property interest for the municipal purposes, including water facilities, pump station, gas and water line easements, and drainage facilities. Such property interests are described as an approximate 38,690 acre, 38.690 acre tract of land. 1,685,336 square feet, improved with a 1,332 square foot single family residence, city of Aubrey, Denton County, Texas, real property records, property ID number 51948, more commonly known as 418 South Magnolia Street, Aubrey, Denton County, Texas, including obtaining an appraisal, a survey, and a title commitment, mailing initial offer letters and final offer letters to the property owners as directed in closed session in the range discussed based on the appraisal discussed with council, including the signing and filing all paperwork necessary to complete the transfer of property interests to the city, and authorizing such approved funds to be paid to the property owners if any of these actions that were necessary for the acquisition of the property or easements for this project have already been completed by the city manager, right-of-way agent, and or city attorney. Those actions, including all negotiations and documents executed prior to this date, are so ratified.
I'll second.
Motion by Randy, second by Chuck, all in favor? Passes 4-0. And we need to discuss future agenda items.
Yes, sir. Mayor, we need to try and schedule a special meeting prior to February 16th in order for you to call an election in May.
That's the only thing on that agenda.
Well, you know how we are, Mayor. We would love to add a few little minor things on an agenda if you're going to be here. Right. Little house cleaning. So, Friday, the 16th would be the deadline. We would want to get quite a few days before that, I would think, to make sure we can get that done. All right, is anybody available the week of the 5th?
I'm out the 9th through the 12th, but early the week of the 5th, I'm available.
Do you have a preferred day?
I can do any day except the 5th.
Would the 8th work for you? Thursday nights.
The 8th is what I'm hearing.
Works for me.
Going once. Well, there will be some other things. P and Z will be on the 8th. What about the 7th?
I could do the 7th.
Who else has a meeting on the 7th?
I'm figuring Patricia. Oh, okay.
Everybody's good on the 7th. We can try to keep the agenda light so that you don't have to be here if you have something, but if you're okay on the 7th.
Wednesdays are fine.
Okay. So Wednesday, the 7th at 6 p.m., a different time. Everybody's good at 6.
That's good.
All right, Wednesday, February 7th, 6 p.m. Special meeting to call the election. Other things the staff might have.
That's everything.
I have nothing else, Mr. Mayor.
Motion to adjourn.
Adjourn, time 9:21.
Jenny?
Oh, boy.
I forget.